Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to talk to Stuart Lee and Michael Cumming about their new documentary, King Rocker, which, if you haven't seen yet, it tells the story of a musician called Robert Lloyd, who's from Birmingham, all through his career, the ups and downs, up until where he is now with his band, the Nightingales. It's well worth checking out. Honestly, if you're watching this video and you haven't seen it, you're doing it the wrong way around. But that's not for me to say. So to follow on from my interviews with Stuart and Michael, and even a little bit of my interview with Robin Asquith where we spoke about King Rocker, I finally managed to get a member of the Nightingales to be kind enough to talk to me. And we did it in my garden because we were at that weird time where pubs were sort of open but they're not quite open yet. So what I did was I faked a beer garden in my own garden, and I got Fliss from the Nightingales to come round and chat to me. And along the way I had a few surprises for her, and we're going to join the action with the first surprise.
Oh my god! That's so cool! Oh my god!
So we both have custom Nightingales pint glasses.
That's amazing! Why didn't we think of this before? Wow!
It's like, it matches the band's aesthetic, I thought. So.
That's so cool, and it's in the King Rocker writing.
Yeah, so cheers! Thanks for coming over.
That. Wow! Is that is so good.
And to match the whole beer garden aesthetic that I've got going on with pint glasses, there's Four Against Fate beer coasters.
You've got to have one of those.
And then just a nice mix of snacks. That
That's so good. I've missed this.
Feel free to help yourself. Although Rob, who's doing the sound, looked at me quite angrily when I brought out a tray of stuff that's all noisy.
Yeah, it's going to be like an ASMR food video.
And then we've got sweaty cobs in cling film, because I know you've been missing that as well over lockdown.
I've not had one in a pub yet.
Yeah, I haven't since they've been back open. So
that is a dream.
Again, help yourself.
That's amazing. What a spread.
And then this is our final bowl of nibbles, and this is for us to just get on with as the interview goes on. This is questions from Stuart Lee.
No way!
So as we're going on throughout the interview, we can just pick away at these and have Stuart involved.
That's so cool! Hi, Stu.
So yeah, Stuart's represented by a bowl of questions.
Bless him. Oh, that's so nice.
I mean, there's been a lot of preamble, but today's guest is drummer, songwriter, and now film star, Fliss Kitson.
Oh, I don't know about that. More of an extra. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome, you're welcome.
I'm thrilled to be here, mainly for the cobs. I'm not going to lie.
The cobs and the beer.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you're the drummer from the Nightingales.
Yeah.
Was drumming the first instrument you went to? Did you try anything else before drumming, or?
Actually, obviously, everyone played the recorder at some point.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, I was excelling in that. I did do piano. Didn't fall in love with that. And then it was drums, straight to drums. So I can't play guitar or anything, and I'm not a jack of all trades. I wouldn't be able to play piano now. Just drums, yeah.
Is there anyone that inspired you to be? Because you could probably off the top of your head name a load of male drummers, but is there anyone that inspired you to get into drumming? Female or male, I suppose.
Yeah, it was really Janet Weiss from Slitty Kinney.
Yeah.
I was really into Riot Girl at the time.
Okay.
When I was younger, about 15, maybe, I started drums. That was the first time I'd seen a female drummer. I was also like a big Foo Fighters fan back in the day. And I loved that heavy beats of Grohl, because he drummed on the first couple of albums, didn't he? So I liked that, and it pretty much was like me and my friends at school, we were hanging out at the playground and wanted to form a band because we were into Riot Girl music. And I just bagsied the drums first. Not that they really wanted to do the drums, but I just had I don't know, they spoke to me. Yeah.
There's something about drums where it's like even like a little kid you can put behind a drum kit and they immediately want to bash things and make sound. It's just, I think it's more approachable than any other instrument in a way where it's like
you hit a drum or you hit a cymbal and you're immediately doing something, whereas with a guitar...
No, you're right, actually, yeah. I wish I'd started younger, really.
Okay.
You take in so much in your brain when you're younger, don't you? And it took me a while to learn. It probably would, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Kids playing drums is really fun.
So did you have lessons, or is it all sort of self-taught?
Yeah, I did have lessons. I wouldn't have known where to start, really, otherwise. I begged my parents for drum lessons, and they thought it was kind of a phase. Like, I wanted a sewing machine when I was 12 and used it once, that kind of thing. So they were really nice and got me drum lessons at a local place in Dereham. And it was also run by a woman, the Drum Academy, I guess, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And there was loads of female drum teachers, which was just wonderful. But I kind of thought that was normal then. Like, I'm just surrounded by women drumming, so it's great. So I had lessons for about 3 years probably, and I did the grades and all of that. And then I just found my own style and just said, right, I don't need to do the lessons anymore. I'm kind of going off on this tangent now, where I'm not playing a straight beat anymore, because he was just like, what are you doing? That is not on the curriculum. So and he was really supportive, actually.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, that you say like you wish you'd started younger, but it's like if you can find something and sort of excel at it as well, it doesn't matter when you find it, does it? As long as you find that thing.
You are right.
Yeah. And so, when did Violet start? Is that your first band from school, or did you have any other bands?
Well, I had like a really non-band, but me and two friends that when we said we wanted to start a band, we did start a band and we were called the Sexual Monkeys, which is a little weird because we were like 15. We didn't.
Yeah.
We were innocent. So I don't know where that came from. We basically just wanted to. We didn't have many friends at all, and we just wanted to start a band. To have a party at my house and invite all the popular people that weren't friends with us, and then play a song that was directly about everyone.
Okay.
So bitchy, and that did follow through a bit with Violet, but I'm grown up now. So we did the Sexual Monkeys. We had a couple of songs, but the party never happened. So when I went to sixth form, I met Cherie, the other girl in Violet, and we formed Violet then. So about 17.
Like you got a record deal as Violet.
That sounds quite big, but it was like a Norwich thing. So it wasn't like we signed over, to the dark side.
But the fact that I could buy a CD all these years later,
cool.
I think that's
cool.
really cool. That
I haven't seen that for ages. I did that artwork on Paint.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You can tell. Let's be honest. Like I googled masking tape and literally stuck that on there. I was playing it down, but NR1 Records, who put that out, and all of our records, were so supportive, and they had the money to put behind it. So we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So it was nice, and Norwich had an amazing music scene at the time, really inspiring. There was so many girls in bands. It was just full of them. So we really bounced off each other, I think, all the bands. Like, it might have been a bit bitchy, but we were so young. And it just kind of riles you up to want to write more and play more.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a really great time.
I think like some of the most famous songs in history, if you really pin them down, have probably come from some sort of spiteful conflict of I'm going to do one better than you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to find a scene, isn't it, that you feel like you fit in.
God, yeah.
You're saying there was lots of like sort of females in bands or like female bands at the time. It's encouraging to you, I suppose, isn't it? You're not just going, oh, we're the odd ones out.
Yeah.
Or
No, totally. And we really found our voices as women in that time as well, because we were growing up, but we also became feminists together. We understood that a bit more together at the same time whilst writing about, that kind of stuff in a more dumbed down way, but it was, it was an amazing moment, really.
Like, how would you describe it? Because it's sort of like poppy punk, I suppose, to a certain degree, but...
Enemy actually coined it, which I think is a good genre, gossip rock.
Oh, okay,
yeah. They got the whole, we were a bunch of bitches. We weren't like, we just like, I hate you, you know, that kind of silliness. But it was poppy edges. We really liked kind of Elastica as well, and we like pop music and rock music. So yeah.
I think, like, when I was listening to it, I don't ask me why, but this is where my head went. Was like, I was like, I could really picture skateboard footage to this. I don't, you know what I mean?
Oh my
that
God!
kind of...
do you know what? The reason, how I got into Riot Girl was my boyfriend at the time. He was like a professional inline skater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Still is, I think. Like, he's doing great. But I used to watch all these videos, like the Senate videos, and I can't remember the names now. But big inline skating videos.
Yeah.
And their soundtracks were amazing.
Yes.
That's where I first heard Sleater Kinney. Was from a Senate video. It was weird, but and like Pretty Girls Make Graves and Bikini Kill, it was all through those skating videos.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a link there. Yeah.
So what happened then? Because you had a few records and EPs, but did that split up for any particular reason, or did you just move on to the Nightingales?
Yeah, it was kind of at the time. So I had done university or art school when I was in the band, but it was in Norwich, so that was fine. I kind of worked around us gigging and stuff. But Cherie wanted to go on and do university and did French, so had a placement in France. And we kind of thought, well, we can't really do as much as we want to do if you want to do that, and that's fine. So we gave it a good year before she went and thought, you know, if we do take the next step up, for example, then she might reconsider. But we never did, and I just wanted her to do that. That's really what she wanted to do, and I knew that wouldn't stop me making music. Now when I think back about it, I just think we so could have stayed together, but we really were so dedicated. It took over our lives, even though we were such on a small scale. It just did. So, yeah. She went into, and she's totally excelling in life. She's a great music journalist now, and that's great. And I didn't stop drumming. So, no. Yeah.
But it's nice that you gave it that time as well, like you say, where you gave it that year, and it's like, you know, if something happens in this year, or you know, that's cool to sort of not just go, okay, it's done, because you're moving away, it's done.
Yeah, we really tried hard, and it's just hard to progress, really.
So, because I noticed in the CD case that in the thank yous, there's Robert Lloyd and the Nightingale. So, was there a crossover with you being in the Nightingales, or was that as a fan, or?
There wasn't a crossover with me being in the Gales, but there was a crossover because just before we released that CD, Rob found us on MySpace, messaged us and said, "Do you want to play some gigs with us?" And we were like, who is this? Not sure about this guy. So we were just like, why? And then he was like, well, I like your music. What else do you think? But you have to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, he was a great champion, and we did support the Nightingales on a few tours. America, Europe, It was quite an insight, really. And then we obviously became great friends, and I was hugely into the band, the Nightingales. But when Violet ended, it seemed to coincide with the drummer of the Nightingales leaving. So there was this gap, and Rob had always said, "Oh, you're going to be the drummer in the Nightingales one day," and I was like, "I don't think so." And then here we are. Adam broke his soul commandment. It's a fighting the guitar. Nature's not a kindly parent, but a merciless stepmom.
So, did you feel like you fit in straight away in the Nightingales? Because obviously it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of you know, a very mixed group, isn't it? Of, you know, with Robert and
Totally, yeah.
So, did you feel like you fit in because of it's kind of a group of oddballs, or?
Yeah. Oh, it was daunting.
Yeah.
When I first was asked to be in the Nightingales, it was actually to do a couple of gigs. It wasn't to be in the band.
Just like
and
filling in.
it was really difficult to learn all those songs. I had 2 weeks. It was really hard, and I was doing 4 shows in Europe with them.
Yeah.
And I was daunted because I knew them as people, and that was fine, but I was always then with my girls, like in Violet, so I always had that breakaway. So I was daunted at first to be so intensely with a bunch of blokes for the whole time.
Yeah.
But they really took me under their wing, and they were so lovely. And at the time, there was a young guitarist called Matt Wood.
Yeah.
And I just really bonded with him. He was an incredible guitar player as well, but we just really bonded, and that kind of helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a question, another question. We've got our bowl of Stuart Lee questions we haven't
my
even got
God,
to yet.
It's like surprise
But
I love this.
I've got another question from someone you might know by the name of Michael Cumming.
Oh, what a babe.
Who says, I felt really privileged to have had a little peek into the world of the Nightingales, and there seems to be a lot of mutual respect and give and take amongst the members. I wondered if there was any particular thing that Fliss has learnt from Robert Lloyd and that she could pass on, and what she thinks that Robert has learnt from her.
Oh my God.
What a lovely question there from
so
Michael
nice.
Cumming. Director, of course, of King Rocker and Brass Eye, Toast to London. And...
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, I've learnt so much. Mainly to not overthink and express myself. Like, he was so supportive of my drumming, and I was never replacing a drummer. I was the drummer.
Yeah.
Like, I just could be me. I've learnt, you know, God, yeah, no, I feel like daunted by that question. It's hard. Yeah, mainly to just be an individual, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also learnt about a lot of music that I've would never have heard before. Like, he's really shown me like the dark depths of kraut rock, and you know, he got me into Beefheart, and that was really inspiring as well. And I love his company. He's an amazing person. You know, he's difficult, yeah, but of course he's a genius. Like, it's going to be difficult. And I think, yeah, just to express myself.
Yeah.
I've really found myself since joining the Nightingales. That sounds a bit deep, actually, but do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense.
I've become way more open. When I was in Violet, I would never want to. We'd play a gig, and I wouldn't want to go to do the merch. Yeah. I was just like, oh, can't be around all these people. Don't want to speak to anyone else. Just want to go home. Yeah. Now I'm just like, I want to speak to everyone. I'm like really excited. It's just great. And what Rob's learnt from me, I mean, yeah, I'd hate to suggest something that he wouldn't think, but I think, it's a bit blowing my own horn, but I think
just blame Michael.
Yeah, Michael. I think he's learned to be enthusiastic again about the band and music. Like, I think we really bounce off each other like that, because there's so many times where he's been like, this is it, this is over, I don't want to do it anymore. But I'm just so passionate, and I'm the optimist of the group, definitely. Yeah. They're all pessimists. So I think me being so excited and so into it and dedicated and doing all of the stuff for the band, it's really kind of pumped him up. Yeah. I know he's said that before, so I don't think I'm speaking out of place there. But yeah. Yeah,
I suppose it's like, without having the gigs, you doing the social media, I suppose, shows how much people care about the band, you know, in a way that he would have never seen, because he's not on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. So for you to have that window into look at all these nice things people said about us today.
I know.
You know, that must be nice for him to have that, you know, have a little window to technology through you.
Yeah, I think it does, and he enjoys. I kind of send him little screenshots every now and then, like, look at what this lovely person said about you. That's amazing on the internet. He does appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that Nightingales didn't have any kind of social presence before I joined. Although I don't know if it was so in vogue 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, MySpace.
Yeah. He did do MySpace. Yeah. But then after, when it became, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and stuff, he's not bothered. So yeah, I think we really work well as a team.
Yeah. I think that comes across from King Rocker, that you know, you sort of fill in each other's gaps in that way, where like you are the one who's pushing the band, whereas he's the big artistic genius, like you said.
Yeah.
But sometimes it needs someone to rein that in, doesn't it? You know, without that, he would just be a genius that maybe no one would hear or no one would see, you know, and that's.
And I do think before King Rocker came out, we were getting like more people coming to our gigs on a level, but like still more people and more people hearing about us because I was doing so much online. It was quite important for us to do that because it's so difficult for a band that's been going for this many decades to ever make that extra step up. Like, it's really unheard of, isn't it? For a band that's just been kind of dormant or stalwarts for so long to ever move forward. Yeah. And I'm not saying I did that. King Rocker has done that to an extent. But I do think I've helped. That sounds really arrogant. But no, I'm so passionate about it. It's what I do. So if you can't toot your own horn, no one else should, really, I guess. Yeah.
I do occasionally. If I like one of my own videos on YouTube, I'll be like, if not me, who?
Yeah, exactly. I will like that. What do you do it for otherwise? You know. Yeah.
Okay, so let's with Michael's deep question.
Ooh,
let's dip into the Nibbles bowl that is Stuart's question. Do you want to pick a random question?
This is so fun. Do you know what? I love games. The whole band. This isn't a game, but it kind of is. You know.
66.
That's when I told Rob about the idea. He said it's like we've got a little boy who's written in a question
it's so
here. Cute. This is Stuart from London said.
And we've got Stuart from London on the line, and he says, "What is your preferred Nightingale stage uniform?" I'm not sure what that accent was actually. It's not Stuart's. What is your preferred Nightingale stage uniform? Great question. I was talking about this yesterday because I was thinking, shall we mix it up? No, I don't want to. Yeah. I really like wearing suits. I think the Nightingales have always worn suits, apart from back in the day, but since I've known the band outside of the band. I really have a strong feeling about going on stage and being a performer and not wearing my regular clothes. I really like that process of being in the dressing room or getting our suits. I mean, we're not like getting changed. I really like that moment where we're all in our boxers. Just putting on the suit and feeling like you're in the uniform, ready to rock. And I like the suit thing because it kind of really clashes with the music. You know, there is rules as well.
Okay.
We can't. This is Rob's rules. We can't wear blue suits. We can't wear pinstripe suits. That's fine. That's a bit office.
Yeah.
We can't have the top. I can, but the boys can't have the top button done up. I don't know. Yeah, he's just a thing with that.
That's fine.
No facial hair.
Oh,
so
okay.
you'd be out. I'm all right. And we do this thing where we wear. I'm probably answering this too. But we do this thing. So we wear shirts, obviously, with the suits, and every night we have a theme. of our shirts, but it won't be known to the audience really, because the theme might be ice cream flavours. And I'd be wearing a mint shirt, and I'd be like, I'm mint choc chip, and Rob would be like, I'm chocolate, you know. And it's just, that's how we get through the fan journeys.
Yeah. That's nice for you to have a little secret, you know, almost amongst the band.
Yeah.
It's like you're not letting the audience in on. Let's have another question from Stu, because that's
good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's clearly better at this than I am.
No, I don't. It's a dual effort. It's everything together. Okay. Oh, good question. What is the best thing in Wolverhampton?
Yes.
Woof. What's the best thing in Wolverhampton? When I moved to Wolves, which was in 2013, I moved for the people, obviously. I moved for the band, which people thought was kind of crazy because I came from Norwich, which is a beautiful, amazing, beautiful place.
Yeah.
But the people weren't there for me anymore. Like, I didn't have a fondness to. My friends weren't there, and I just wanted to move away. And so Wolverhampton like really took me under its wing. Like, I just fell in love with the place as well as the people. The best pubs are in Wolves.
Yeah.
Like, definitely.
100%.
And I'm gonna say the Great Western. We were talking about it earlier, but that's probably a bit lame. But
no,
it's the best pub.
I think it's completely acceptable.
Great cobs. We've got a mini Great Western here right now. I'm going to say Great Western.
The Great Western.
Do you think?
Yeah, I've got a lot of fondness for the Great Western, and pubs in general. I think some of the pubs in Wolves are some of the best.
I feel like there's no pretense in Wolverhampton, which I really like. Like, you can go to the Gifford, which is a rock club, pub thingy. And no one's really staring at you. It's like, I like that. It wasn't like that in Norfolk, so.
So on to King Rocker then. How did you find out about that? Because Stuart mentioned that Robert had the idea for a while of doing a documentary about the band. Mm-hmm. So was that sort of mentioned to you before Stuart ever became involved in it, and Michael became involved in it?
Yeah, I remember quite a while ago, and it was not so long after I joined the band really that Phil Dupertus actually was like, not a documentary, not like it is now, but he kind of was saying about the Nightingale should have a platform somehow, like how can he help? But nothing came about that. And then I was at the pub in London. We were at a pub in London, and Stuart was playing, and we were all going. So we met Stuart at the pub, and he was talking about the idea of this documentary. I know in a lot of interviews there's like, Stuart says that Rob wanted it to be like Anvil. Yeah. Rob claims he's never seen Anvil, so how could he even say that? But I mean, the whole story of King Rocker is, is that true? Is that not true? So I'll leave that open.
The unreliable sort of storyteller, isn't it?
Yeah. And it all seems a bit of a blur because it happened quite quickly. It was just happening. I mean, it didn't happen quickly, obviously, because it's been so long since it was filmed. But once Michael and Stuart realised that they were on board together, it was kind of like, right, let's try and do this, because it's not just a dream. Like, we want to put this into action. Yeah.
It's like, a nice idea, but it's like they were the ones who were like, let's make this happen.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So how did you feel being involved with it? Was it as soon as you heard the idea, were you like, oh yeah, I'm up for this, or did you have any sort of reservations about it? Or?
No, I was totally up for it because I mean, you trust Stuart and you trust Michael. They're inspirational people. Like, what they've done is amazing. We're all massive fans. You kind of like, that's what Rob said. Like, oh, it might not be how I thought it was going to turn out, but I trust those two to make it what it is. That's fine. So yeah, just kind of went with it. I just thought, what an amazing platform this will be.
Yeah.
And for them to have faith in Robert and want to put all that work in is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Rob, and that people kind of have heard about, you know, all the stuff that Rob does, and the music. Like Rob says in the film, the music is the important part of it. But people like to hear the backgrounds of bands now, and you know, on Facebook a photo of me and Rob will go down way better than here's our new single, which is kind of ridiculous. But people like to see the background work, don't they?
Absolutely.
And understand more about the personalities behind the music, and yeah.
I think, you know, like you can have casual fans of stuff, but I think it's like those hardcore fans like want to know that and want to know that like.
That's what I want to know about the bands I like. Yeah.
And doing the Nightingale social media, I suppose that's how you can do it. Is go, well, what makes me click like on the bands that I like or whatever. You know, you have that power, don't you?
Yeah, totally, and it works, and it is like you say, it's what I want to see.
Obviously, when the film came out, you had like a digital red carpet almost, where the four of you uploaded pictures of yourselves, like pretending you're the paparazzi and stuff. But that looked like a lot of fun to sort of put
I think
I
just send these ideas to them and say, can you just take a photo of you in a suit and pretend you're being papped or whatever? It'd be funny. You won't get it, but just do it. And they're like, for God's sake, it's one of Fliss's things again. It just works a treat though, and just like we just want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So yeah, I think they think it's stupid sometimes, but they get on board with it, and Rob goes for it. He's a good sport.
Yeah.
In that sense. Yeah.
Like running the band's social media, obviously you've seen the reaction since King Rocker's come out. How's that been? You know, everything I've seen's been positive, and like you were saying earlier about Phil Jupiter's, it's like some really big names have been saying good stuff about the film.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Well.
Michael Sheen tweeted. Can't believe that. It was really intense.
Yeah.
Because I do it all myself. None of the other members could really understand like how crazy it was that the whole week before and 2 weeks afterwards. It was really mental, like 50 notifications a minute. I couldn't keep up with it. I just couldn't. But I really wanted to, because that's how I like to be on social media, is interactive.
Yeah.
But it was something else, and it's all I've ever wanted though. So I was so happy to see that. And I didn't go out of my way. I didn't search like King Rocker and try and find like bad comments. You can get yourself into a hole that way.
Oh,
I kept off the comment section in The Guardian and all that stuff. But I don't generally, there might have been a few things, but it was all really positive. And it was amazing. I think it went better than anyone could have expected, actually. Because you never know when you're in it, do you, how it's going to be received. And the press the week before was incredible. I mean, just wow.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it. We could, because we know the film's great, but to reach to those kind of people, you know, 5 stars in the Financial Times, that's weird, but great. And Twitter was just a whole nother level. I always said, like I was saying, like, I don't know how famous people deal with this, or, you know, our platform's very tiny comparatively. But it was crazy. But they have people that do it for them, don't they? They pay to do that. So, yeah.
Or just ignore the vast majority of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was wonderful. Yeah.
And then, how's the reaction been from the band? Have you seen an uptick in, like, you know, sales of merch and sales of tickets and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. We sold so many records after King Rocker. It probably more than we sold when it came out.
Yeah.
It was wonderful because the music is what matters, and you can watch King Rocker and not like the music, of course, and not even care about the band, of course, and that's great. But there were people that discovered us through it and liked the music, and that really came through with sales and tour. Like loads of gigs have sold out. That's never happened before for us. Like we play Middlesbrough every tour.
Yeah.
To hardly anyone, and now we're upgraded into the upstairs room and it's sold out, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's nice that, like, you know, it's worked in that way, I suppose, you know.
I think Stuart was just really happy to hear that as well, because the film, it wasn't necessarily to kind of like make us more money, because we don't make money. We're not, it might look like we're successful now, but we are still on an underground level.
Yeah.
You know, we're not making a living from this at all. Far from it. But when Stuart asked, like, oh, how are record sales going? Have you seen an upsurge? You know, just like you asked, and he was just thrilled to hear that it had kind of, you know, that it had gone to, you know, people listening to our music as well.
Yeah, it worked in that way. Where it's like, he got to show off the cool band to, but rather than going to just his friends going, look how cool this band is, it's like, you know, to anyone who tuned into Sky Arts that night, it's like, look how cool this band is.
150,000 people tuned into it on that Saturday. That's amazing. I don't know if I think I'm allowed to say that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The head of Sky Arts was like, that's really good going. Well done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is like, obviously you didn't get to have like the red carpet premiere of it, but it's like, you wouldn't fit 150,000 people in a cinema to see it. So it's like, you know, that's an amazing sort of opening.
I felt like, because we were in lockdown, we were, weren't we?
Yeah. January.
It was very February. Like, it felt like a community, because it's rare for everyone to be watching something at the same time anyway, because people watch on catch up or whatever.
Yeah.
But whoever wanted to watch it was watching it at that time on the Saturday, and it really was like this community feeling. It felt like people coming together again. And that was really special.
Yeah, I think, and like I say, I noticed that immediately as well on Twitter, like afterwards, with suddenly all these people just saying, you know, because obviously I'd done the interviews with Stuart and Michael just before the film came out, so I was interested, you know, just, you know, probably not as much as you, but obviously being in the band, but you know, I was checking the hashtags and stuff and being like, oh, it's great to see that other people see it the way I did, you know, because it was one of those films that when I watched it, I was like, oh, this, you know, when something feels like it was almost tailored for you, it's like,
you're like, is this gonna reach other people? That's
yeah. This feels like it was just made. Stu and Michael have just made this for me.
Like Robin Ince tweeted that night and said, it's everyone on my Twitter timeline is talking about King Rocker. And how amazing is that?
But
it was.
Robin's other tweet that night that made me laugh is like, at this rate, you're going to be too popular for Stuart to like you anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. Funny.
And so then you've got, towards the end of this year, you've got a tour.
Yeah.
And then you've currently got a new single out.
That's the one.
Nightingales, backed with Stuart Lee, and it has got Stuart on the back, hasn't it? So are you looking forward to the tour? You said like that some of the venues have already sold out or been upgraded. So
I can't wait. I'm so happy to be back doing it, and well, hopefully all being well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the 4th time I've rescheduled the tour, which is a massive, you know, pain. It's such a chore to even book a tour by yourself, let alone have to reschedule it when all the other bands want gigs as well.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it like, woe with me, everyone's in the same boat, but, you know, it's just my boat, so I'm moaning about it.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
But, oh, God, I just can't wait. And, you know, we've been practicing again, and it just felt amazing, like a sense of, of relief, and to be playing drums again, and be in a room with Rob again, and it's lovely. It's been 14 months, so I can't wait to play gigs and to play to more people than 20 people in Middlesbrough. That's going to be weird. So yeah, it'll be good.
Children are immune to torment. His blood was a waste of time. Yeah, crooked lives.
So you design all the band's artwork, and you've recently had the Four Against Fate album on display at Icon.
Yeah.
Was that cool? That made you feel like a proper bona fide artist to have?
It is really cool, you know, because you never think it's gonna like go outside of being on the cover.
Yeah.
And when Icon, which is a great gallery, obviously in Birmingham, did the call to artists, even though I do a lot of art on the side, I don't consider myself an artist, which I guess is weird, but I do it, but I just think I'm a drummer and that's it on the side. But because of lockdown, I kind of did a bit more.
Yeah.
And the call to artists in Birmingham, and you had to write kind of why the pandemic, why you suffered through that as an artist or your creator.
Yeah.
So I did it on the level of a musician, but we created this piece of art which was for the album, which came out in the pandemic. So that's difficult. Actually, it was our best-selling album.
Yeah.
It worked really well, but so it was nice to be accepted into that kind of art realm.
Yeah.
Finally, like that's really nice. And yeah, I was on, you know, around really great artists like Rocker Wolf, Joe Lycett, there's a piece there. Yeah, it was great. It was really good to see.
Yeah.
It's nice to be a part of that.
It was really cool. It's like, you know, because obviously you see it as the album cover, and then it wasn't until like, I think Rob sent me a photo of it in the Icon. I was like, oh, it's a proper piece of, you know what I mean? It's not just an album cover, it's a proper piece of art.
It's weird though, because it was actually quite a last minute, it wasn't a last minute piece, but it was last minute for me to do it, because 2 previous albums, the collages of the flowers and dead pigeons or whatever is on there was an artist called David Yates, who we love and who does all of, but he couldn't do this one, but it was quite last minute. And I was like, well, I would love to do something. Rob, tell me what's going on in the album, like what kind of themes, like all the collage of the last album, it all represents something that Rob's talking about. And so that was really fun to do, and also like get into Rob's head a bit, because I can hear his lyrics and I really appreciate them. He's a great lyricist, but also to put it to imagery was fun.
Right, so before we wrap up, we should probably finish off the last 2 questions from Stuart's Nibble Bowl.
Have I left a really deep one to last? Oh, do you know what they are? You do know what they are.
I do know what they are, yeah.
Oh. Who is the nicest band you've played with?
There you go.
That's a good question. First one that comes to mind, because I could be here all day, is Surplus 9080 from America. They're a great band, but we went to tour the west coast of America. They sorted the whole tour out, and they provided us like a van and got us hotel rooms. And I think they thought we were bigger than we are. They were so accommodating and generous, and really like just showed us such a good time. And we did feel a bit like, are we rock stars? But then we turn up to San Diego and 2 people would be there, you know, like back into reality. But they were so nice, accommodate, and also just such an inspiration to watch. They're an amazing, incredible band. Mo, the drummer, and Mark, the other drummer. I don't even like drummers that much. I don't watch drummers very often. I'm not really inspired by drummers, but those 2 were really inspiring, and such a nice group of people. To be with a band on tour for 2+ weeks, that's a lot of time you're together. We were in the same van as them. So yeah, they've got to be special to be able to put up with us for that long, really. So, yeah.
Right, then the last one.
Okay. Oh, that's just funny because it links on to what I just said. Who are the best drummers?
There you go.
Yeah, you know, when we were speaking earlier, and I said that Janet Weiss was like
an inspiration. Yeah.
But actually, I wasn't inspired by drummers that much to where my style comes from, or I don't know if I've got style, but how I drum anyway. It's not really inspired by anyone in particular, and I don't like to talk about drum. I don't really like to talk about technicalities. I don't want to. If someone goes, "What cymbals do you use?" I don't know. They just sound okay. It doesn't. Those kind of things don't really bother me. Darren, the previous drummer of the Nightingales, was probably my biggest inspiration.
Okay.
If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Incredible drummer, all over the place, and just wonderful to watch. And I'll go with Janet Weiss and Mo from Surplus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, well, just one last question then about your drum kit, because I know you said it gets more attention than you do behind the kit. Is your battered cymbal? You have like one battered cymbal.
Yeah, it does. Everyone, found like a really crap cymbal in a skip, and I just hit it, and it sounded like a tin can. I thought that's great. So then I could also have a cymbal where I don't feel so, because they're expensive.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel so precious about it, so you can just whack it. And it's kind of, I think it's kind of blossomed and flowered. People would say it was broken, but it's totally, I feel like it's not going to last that much longer, but, so yeah, that's.
There's something in that, isn't there? There's like a metaphor or something in that where you're like, some people would say it's battered and broken, but I think it's blossomed. There's something in that.
Yeah, and Stuart would be totally on that, wouldn't he? If he was here, he'd find, some story within that.
There's still tickets left for some of the venues if people want to go and see
and
you
we
guys
will be on tour next year, and hopefully the DVD will come out then, and it'll be bigger and better, and I don't know. Who knows where our path is going to take us? At the moment, we're up for saying yes to a lot of things. So, yeah.
Sort of making the most of it.
I think we have to, really.
Making hay while the sun shines.
It's kind of now or never. I'm not saying like anything's happening, but I mean, we've got to embrace it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the new single.
The new single, yep.
And you've still got copies of Four Against Fate left, haven't you?
We have,
as well?
yeah.
So go to the Nightingales Bandcamp.
That's the one.
Pick those up.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much,
Oh,
Fliss.
thanks for
I've really
having
enjoyed
me.
having you in my fake beer garden.
I love it. It's been nice to chat. Yeah, it's been really nice to chat, and I really appreciate the pint glass. Yeah.
And obviously, thank you to Stuart and Michael for being involved from a distance as well.
Yeah, so nice. So nice.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Get it down, yeah.
Here comes storm and trouble with faces that can smack us. Man, you're the king to his only brother, and cast your burners have his heart.
You have to embarrass yourself, Mark.